One of the most unique times in life is when a child is brought into this world by a couple. Bex and her husband Martin were ecstatic about their daughter's birth. Everything had gone well during the pregnancy, with each checkup getting the all clear. They already had the room decorated and every other fine detail in their house ready for their baby's birth, like all couples who are expecting a newborn. But suddenly, in an event which would leave thousands stunned, everything would take a turn for the worse. Tiny Willow Rose's heart stopped at birth for 8 minutes, but she's now a stable, happy baby following a pioneering operation at St. Michael's Hospital, Bristol. After being frozen for 3 days, a miracle baby girl who died at birth for 8 minutes shocked medics to make a complete recovery. After her heart rate fell during labor, little Willow Rose was delivered by emergency C-section, and when she was born, it had stopped entirely. As surgeons attempted to resuscitate her at Gloucestershire Royal Hospital, devastated parents, Bex, age 37, and Martin Forrest, 44, waited to hear their daughter cry. Medics detected a pulse after 8 agonizing minutes, and 3 minutes later, it was fully developed on April 20th last year. But when 7-pound, 8-ounce, 3.4 kilogram Willow was packed into an incubator and wheeled past them in the high-intensity neonatal care unit, Bex and Martin had to look on. Cooling therapy is a pioneering procedure that freezes the baby for 3 days to stop brain damage. It was then administered by a specialist team from St. Michael's Hospital, Bristol. Astonishingly, Willow made a complete recovery 15 months after she was placed in the refrigeration suit that cooled her entire body from 37 degrees Celsius to 33.5 degrees Celsius. Full-time mom, Bex, who lives in Ronkswood, Worcester, with senior project engineer Martin, said, "It was a perfectly healthy, normal 9 months up until I went to work. It was expected even though I went to have a C-section because I just hadn't been making progress for 4 days. I was so drugged up that I didn't know, but it turned into an emergency C-section after 15 minutes when Willow unexpectedly lowered his heart rate. All these people came running in unexpectedly, so I was conscious that something was wrong. I just kept thinking, I can't hear her crying. What's going on? Why doesn't she cry? I understood when they took her out of me." When they're born, everybody expects to hear their baby cry, and the longer it goes on, the worse it gets. It was the world's worst feeling. Martin was great. He told me it would all be okay. I was unable to see what was going on. I just saw her wheeled past me into the ITU. I didn't even get to touch her. The Bristol specialist team arrived within an hour, and she was taken to St. Michael's Hospital that night after putting Willow into the cooling unit. But there were no free beds, and Bex had to stay at Gloucester Hospital before she was released to be reunited with her daughter on April 20th. She said, "That was agonizing. I told Martin to go with Willow to Bristol because I thought she wanted someone familiar there, even though she didn't know him yet. I didn't even have my own son, so I gave up waiting after 2 days and just left the hospital myself. It was awesome. Martin picked me up and I got to be with Willow at last. While I was unable to carry her, I was able to stroke her little hands. For 4 weeks, she didn't cry. She didn't know how to cry because she had too many tubes and they hurt her throat. It's funny, but all we wanted was to hear the cry of our child. Now she does plenty of that, though. Incredibly, Willow is a perfectly stable baby after a year without visible emotional or physical problems." Martin said, "Really, the cooling therapy is awesome. Essentially, the damage is like a fire that continues to burn in the head as the brain is deprived of oxygen. It only keeps that from happening and prevents any more harm from cooling the entire baby instantly. They put her for 3 days in a tiny suit attached to a refrigerator unit and then gradually increased her core temperature on the 4th day. In her rehab, she was just fantastic. They were told that there's always a possibility that she'll suffer developmental disabilities, but she's completely healthy so far. Those minutes were bad indeed. Her legs were kicking in a cyclical movement when she was taken away in the incubator, and I thought she would fit. Now she's just a perfectly healthy baby. On Sunday, 8/14, Bex completed a 70-meter zip wire challenge to raise over £1,000 for the Cots for Tots charity. The group supports equipment for premature kids and has a house for parents to reside in opposite the neonatal intensive care unit at St. Michael's Hospital. But for today, that isn't it. We have another story for you. Woman says for 17 months she's been pregnant and has received an impressive fourth since childhood was born. Wang Shi appears to be 8 months past her due date, but insists that there was no physical issues caused by bringing the baby around. An expectant mother who appears to have been pregnant for 17 months is demanding that a cesarean section be performed by doctors. Wang Shi claims she's at least 8 months past her due date, which was supposed to be last November. In February 2015, she's said to have become pregnant and then went to the hospital 9 months later with her partner, Kang Jai-wei, expecting to have her child delivered. But doctors in Hunan province in central China advised her that she was not ready to give birth, citing a placenta that was clearly underdeveloped. Wang was quoted as saying, "Once a week since my due date, my husband and I have returned to the hospital hoping to deliver the baby. It's cost us more than 10,000 RMB, or about 1,156 pounds, just for the checkups alone, and we've now lost our patience." Wang, who has gained 25.2 kilograms since she was reportedly pregnant almost 2 years ago, said she was physically strong and was not tired of carrying her unborn child around her. But she said that no small amount of stigma among her family and friends was caused by her long pregnancy. "I feel ashamed of being pregnant for so long. I feel ashamed of being pregnant for so long, and I hope I can successfully and safely deliver my baby next month." Doctors have reportedly told Wang that her placenta is a grade 2 at present, referring to her condition of placenta previa, in which organ remains at the lower part of the womb rather than rising and spreading to the top as pregnancy progresses. The disease, which is estimated to occur once in every 200 pregnancies and is graded into 4 groups, from minor to major, causes partial or full covering of the neck of uterus. Wang, whose unborn child now weighs approximately 3,800 grams, was quoted as saying that before completing what she claims would be her 18th month of pregnancy, she would definitely request a C-section. The government certificate given to her, which legally grants her the right to have a child in China, states that she was due in 2015. If her argument happens to be valid, then the longest human pregnancy will possibly be a record setter. Apparently, the current record holder is a woman in 1945 named Beulah Hunter. The length of her pregnancy was 375 days, or just over 12 months.